Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's been a minute since I've done anything long form. Even my tour that I did was super short. It was like 2 minutes. So this is gonna be the first long form video back. Okay, and we got a doozy today. We've got a lot of tea to unpack. So the other day, I woke up and I was like, you know what? This was before Roe v. Wade even happened, so like the cosmos had aligned. I decided I wanted to take down the patriarchy, meaning my church. Not necessarily the whole church. This one specific guy in the church that I know for a fact is extremely racist and has very dangerous ideologies for somebody that is in a leadership position in a community, let alone a church. So we're gonna unwrap that today. Then we're gonna get into what this snowballed into, because it really did. It was a whole thing. So let me just start off by reading this text message that was sent to an unnamed person that is close to me. The backstory of this is this person that was close to me, I'm not sure if they want to be named, so I'm going to not, just in case, posted something about BLM on their story last year, and this pastor decided to comment on it. Not necessarily comment, but, you know, reply to her story, which then creates a message feed. So now he's messaging this person. And right off the bat, it's a very odd conversation. I don't have all of the screenshots anymore. The person that has them still does, but this one is really the only, kicker. Here's the message. It said, when and where in our current society, I'll put this up on the screen, in the past 20 years even, is there racism? There are idiots in every culture. I'm speaking as a people group. Currently, where is racism? The reason I ask is because no one can answer this. If we're expected to pay for the sins of people centuries ago, or even half centuries ago, then every fathomable faction of society will have a claim. We can't resolve it by hyper-promoting that which is not racism as racism. If a black cop shoots a white guy, it doesn't make the news. If it's a white cop shooting a white guy, no news. If it's a white cop shooting a black guy, it's racism. Let's unpack that, because it's not just that black people are being shot by white cops, it's that black people are being shot and killed in other ways by cops. I just saw an instance the other day where a woman was hogtied with zip ties and put in the back of a police car and almost did not make it out of that alive because she was not able to breathe very well. That leads me to talking about George Floyd, who was not shot by a police officer, but instead was kneeled on his neck by the police officer until the point of suffocation, after which he died. So that's really interesting that you glommed onto the fact that it was just police shootings and that's what's racist, because there's a lot more things that have happened in the past 6 months even that don't involve black people or shooting at all, that you just couldn't seem to think of in the moment, I guess. The first one that comes to mind for me personally, the whole phenomenon of Trump using the China virus and then people, specifically white people, internalizing this and then blaming the whole coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic on Asian people, in which Asian people have been harmed as a result of hate crimes and racism. There were a couple Asian women that were pushed in front of trains. There were old and young Asian people, men and women on the streets, that have been attacked, and they have proven that that was racially motivated. Another one is Ahmaud Arbery, which is, so sorry if I said their name wrong, who was just chased down by 3 men in a pickup truck and then lynched. Like, you do not have to look hard to find these instances of racism that don't have anything to do with shooting, and which is what he seemed to want to talk about. So anyway, I posted this onto my page calling out this pastor, saying this is dangerous for somebody to just believe that there's no racism, and there hasn't been racism in the past 20 years. Like that's not a fact. That's a very dangerous idea to have. So I posted it on our Overheard in Traverse City group, which is where the church is located, and I disabled the comments because Traverse City, let's just be honest, isn't all that, and there's a lot of racist people and homophobes that still make their voices heard. The people with the loudest voices usually have the worst types of opinions, so there's that. So we have this character that enters into the scene after all of this. I disabled the comments because I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to have to spend hours of my day deleting comments, trying to decide if somebody meant something racist or not, being microaggressive or whatever. So I just disabled the comments. I was like, if they want to say something, they can come to my page, I can delete it, I can handle it, whatever. So that did happen. This character, I do not know who this person is. Like, to this moment, I went through their Facebook to try to figure out who it was because they said they went to my church and they know my parents, but I don't know them. Their name is Ryan Flesher. I'll put our conversation on the screen here. So unfortunately I don't have the text message or the comment that he put on my Facebook because I deleted it because it honestly was very cruel to me personally. But basically what it said was, sorry to have misinformed all of you. This girl, meaning me, has no contact with her parents, claims that they abused her and makes YouTube videos about it, so she can't be a credible source for this. So this man just effectively brought up my abuse and used it as a way to discredit me for something that's totally unrelated. So I deleted it immediately. I went to his DMs. I said, did you really think that you could come to my page and I would just leave that comment up? Did you really think that? And he said, I believe you said you're only going to delete racist comments. This was an overheard in Traverse, not on your personal page. Well, in fact, it was on my personal page because you can't comment on the other one. I said, so how does me going no contact with my abusive parents have anything to do with a racist statement by a pastor? And why do you feel the need to defend my parents? Are they paying you to do so? I'm just making the point that you have a grudge anyway, so not everything has credibility. I'm not defending your parents. I don't know what all happened. I'm defending A-Ray, Pastor Adam Ray. He said, right now, you just look like a random guy that came to my page to harass a younger girl about her relationship with her parents because you got upset that your friend is racist. Grow up. Not random, I go to the church, and again, it was on a public forum, and I said, and brought something up completely unrelated, which happened to be my abusive parents. What was the purpose of that? Do you not believe I was abused? And then I said I'll make a YouTube video out of this too, since apparently that bothered him so much that I make YouTube videos about things that I personally experienced. I guess depends on your definition of abuse. I don't know what all went down. Honestly, I don't care. So why did you bring it up? Why was it such a big selling point to you that I'm estranged from my parents if you don't actually care what happened? I said, and you did post that on my personal page. I deactivated comments on the public forum, which looks even worse for you that you came to my personal page to comment that. Then he shot back, so no one can make a proper argument. Nice, grow up. So he used my line on me because he thought it was such a good one, I guess. I said, you feel the need to argue that that text wasn't racist? Then I guess the congregation is racist too, isn't it? I have no problem with black or any other color. I didn't ask you about the color wheel, sir. I asked you if you think that's racist. Okay, interesting. I said my YouTube title will be The Whole Church is Racist, which is the title of this video. Since you don't think racism exists, good luck to you. God bless. So I said, God bless you too, in all caps, with a bunch of hearts. There's just a lot to unpack about why people think it's appropriate to, one, not even realize that they're on someone's personal page commenting. Like, how do you fuck that up? But even thinking that you have any type of right to bring up my abuse that I suffered, that you don't know anything about. You said you don't know anything about. You said you don't care, but for some reason that somehow got brought up to prove that I'm not credible. Two totally unrelated things that he has nothing, no knowledge, no personal experience with. He only knows what my parents had probably said to the church or whatever, which, if we're being honest, is not the truth. They literally just emailed my sister on her birthday after we've repeatedly asked them not to reach out to us because we're trying to heal from the abuse that we have suffered from them. And we can't do that when they are love bombing us and continuing to be abusive towards us by not respecting our boundaries. So that's it. Now they're on my wall of shame, Ryan is, which is where he belongs. On the post that I made about Mr. Flesher, it says, Ryan Flesher decided that because I make YouTube videos about being abused, I don't have credibility when it comes to the racist Adam Ray text. How that's related, I'm unsure. He also decided to come onto my page, deleted, to tell me that I have a grudge against the whole church, so now he's on the wall of shame. Enjoy your stay. And I think that's just really how we need to start handling things like this when people come onto our pages and just say blatantly hurtful and wrong and cruel things and then expect to have no repercussions or consequences, because that's really what it comes down to in Christianity a lot of the time, is they think that they can say whatever they want with no repercussions because God's got them, they're a Christian, whatever they say isn't wrong in the first place, when in fact it's very extremely hurtful. Like, what this man didn't know is that I literally just finished my counseling session where I had to go through all of these traumatic experiences and rate them from most traumatic to least traumatic so that I could work on them in order of severity for my own mental health. And then I get this comment saying I'm not credible because I was abused and I choose to use my platform to speak about the abuse so that other people that are going through narcissistic abuse have something to compare their own experiences to and hopefully realize that what they're going through is not a healthy relationship dynamic. But no, he decided to weaponize the fact that I talk about my abuse, make it seem like a bad thing, and we're not done. After Ryan took up residency on the Wall of Shame, his wife had some words, had some feelings to share. So we're gonna go through these right now as well. It's gonna be really fun. I'm not triggering at all. Here we go. I already read you the post. This bitch wrote the biggest paragraph on my Facebook. Let's just read it, okay? It says, "Oh Lord," with a hand face palm emoji. "Best case scenario, I'm wasting my time. Worst case scenario, I'm making things worse for any involved in the situation. I apologize ahead of time for the latter." That's nice. "I debated sending you a private message, Haley, because you removed the ability to comment on your overheard post and seemed flustered by the idea of a stranger posting on your personal page. Valid, I suppose. But being that you have a penchant for posting private messages, can I ask what a private message is? Because I own half of those messages. 50% of those messages are mine, and it's just like if you were to say something to someone out loud, and I said, oh, Ryan Flesher said this to me, but now he can say, I never said that. But that can't happen because we live in a digital age, and now all of a sudden it's not okay for private conversations to be shared. Interesting. Being that you have a penchant for posting private messages, I just thought I would cut out the middle person. I'm not here to invalidate your experience. I'm not here to disagree with your viewpoint. I'm here to make a case for why your way of going about processing might be counteractive to your case. First of all, I'm not processing anything. I've processed this for a year before I posted it. I do this because your cause on its face is a good one. Everyone deserves safety and the freedom that comes with equal standing. No one should use their inherent advantages over another to subjugate them, demean them, or turn others against them to exalt themselves. Much work has already been done by those that have gone before us. There's still much to do, but the best work is done by love and listening, which Adam Ray wasn't willing to do when this person sent them messages about racism and how it is in fact real. This is where it gets really strange. Yeah, but the best work is done by love and listening and empathy. You have a difference of viewpoint with someone. Is this a person with a platform that speaks often on the topic at hand? Well, he's a pastor. I would really hope that they're talking about racism in the church because that's a big deal. So I guess yes. Is it a great victory to the cause to topple their platform? If it means that people of color are safe from a pastor that doesn't believe in racism and will invalidate their experiences, then yes. Yes, I think that's just called accountability, actually. I have had to consider these questions before myself. Different person, different topic, same power dynamic. In the end, I had to concede putting this person on blast would not accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Indeed, it would have backfired immensely. Well, I guess I'm just waiting for the backfire to happen, Lindsay, huh? It's been a day. Nobody's reached out to me. The church hasn't reached out to me. Adam Ray hasn't reached out to me about this statement, so I think that you're fighting someone else's battle. You're a passionate person. Your will to enact change in the world is part of you. It's not going to go away, but I'm not asking anything of you but to reconsider your methodology, then reconsider it some more. If you still feel like this is what you need to do, don't hold back, I guess. I said, I'm flustered over the fact that your husband came to my page and brought up the fact that I don't have contact with my abusive parents as a means to discredit me sharing something completely unrelated, as it is extremely cruel to bring something like that up without knowing anything about the situation. He could have also privately messaged me with his concerns about Pastor Adam, but he didn't do that. He also said he didn't know what my definition of abuse was or care that I was abused after I asked him, which is very disheartening to hear from a Christian. I honestly had a hard time understanding what the point of the comment was, but I think what you're concerned about is my method of holding people accountable for their words and actions against me. I'm saying that it's wrong or harmful to me, but I really don't think you would care if it wasn't your husband being put on blast. Because she didn't. She didn't message me when I put Adam Ray on blast, but now that her husband's on my wall of shame, now she wants to come and talk about Adam Ray as well, which is suspicious. I would talk to him about harassing people and bringing their families up so this doesn't happen again. You can also still private message me about Adam. There's just no need to bring up my strained relationship with my parents as ammunition. I think you know that's wrong. I agree two wrongs don't make a right. I wouldn't have personally brought your family up. I also think you're wrong, though, to have brought a private conversation to a public forum, as I'm going to hazard a guess you didn't seek the consent of the other person involved. What if he had done that to you? Are you talking about Ryan or Adam Ray messages, which this question doesn't get answered? I'm trying to understand if you're saying we should excuse Pastor Adam because of his platform and because they don't talk about racism that frequently in the church. Then she says, this is Lindsay, the wife. In the interest of full disclosure, I thought of getting involved long before my husband did. Why didn't you? You could have saved yourself a lot of embarrassment if you would have just come and got your mans. I cringed a little when he tagged my name. Ultimately, I moved forward with my response not because you put my husband on blast. Why didn't you reach out to me yesterday then, huh? Why was that, Lindsay? But because the direction of the conversation looked really fruitless and I perhaps foolishly dared to hope I could slow the train down before it derailed. I think she means my conversation with her husband, which he did not have to take part in. He did not have to respond to me and dig his whole grave deeper, but he did. I'm still unsure which conversation you're referring to that seemed fruitless. She says, oh, either one really. It's just bad form, I think. I've seen a lot of people do it. I just ... Why would you want to breed distrust if you're trying to have civil discourse? First of all, I wasn't trying to have civil discourse. This was a PSA, a public service announcement. You don't debate and discourse about a public service announcement. You hear the announcement and you move on and you take that information for what it's worth. It's the same thing as saying this person said this to me, except I have proof so that they can't say that they didn't say those things in the first place, which I hope you would agree in Adam's case is harmful ideation. I have never had to worry about my conversations being public because I don't say things to others that I wouldn't post on my page myself. Maybe that's because I'm used to being a public figure, having social media. That's just how things work. People post things. People are gonna leak things. Like, you have to protect yourself by not being an asshole. It's that easy. I would also argue that posting a statement and closing comments so it serves as a PSA and not a debate is not creating distrust. However, discrediting someone because you don't believe they were abused and now they have a grudge is definitely creating mistrust. I also said, are you trying to say that you agree racism doesn't exist and that's why you wanted to comment on my post overheard in the first place? And then Hannah, my friend, chimed in and said, just have to say, sorry to interject, I will leave after this comment. The comments and messages sent to Haley were not trying to be civil, so again, a little accountability goes a long way. She gets it. She gets that this is accountability. This is not me trying to, embarrass somebody. It's just you don't get to talk to me like this and then move on with your day like you just didn't do that. That's ridiculous. I said, I think your time would be better spent holding your husband and pastor accountable than worrying about someone sharing things they boldly say to other people under the guise of privacy. Because nothing is private, really, if we think about it. These messages are half mine as much as they're half his, so he can post them too. I don't give a shit. The difference is I didn't say anything incriminating to make me look like a really, really shit person, and your husband did. After I said that, she said, well, I can say in all honesty, I don't think my husband's chief goal was discourse. So was it just to harass me, or what was it? What was it? Ryan is an incredible man with the most beautiful giant friggin' heart. He's as loyal as the day is long. He's not going to turn a blind eye to evil, but he did when I accused someone of being racist and they came and attacked me instead of going to that person and saying, hey, is this true? Do you really feel that way? He is as loyal as the day is long. He's not going to turn a blind eye to evil, but he's quick to defend others. Naturally, especially those he considers friends. That is the lens to look at his comments through. You've taken a man he respects and dragged his reputation out to smear it, then silence anyone's ability to defend him. Why are we defending a racist? Food for thought. Then you brought the conversation to your own page, which one might argue could be kind of an echo chamber, except for my husband and I. Do I think he's taking your feelings into consideration? Probably not at the moment. I do think ultimately my husband is a compassionate person, but he's not currently on your side. I'm not sure how he could be given the circumstances. I'm not sure how my husband could be on your side after you shared posts where your pastor explicitly said that he doesn't believe in racism and doesn't think it's existed for the past 20 years. I said I don't care about the opinions of people who are going to debate if racism is real or not. The point was to inform the POC in the area, not to open up a debate. I also think it's really sad that you have to say all this instead of him. Perhaps he should speak to A-Ray if he's concerned about the message he saw. It's up to Adam to defend his reputation, not your husband. Your husband also initiated the conversation by leaving that comment about me being abused, so if anything was fruitless, it was his comment. He also didn't have to respond to my messages calling him out for being unbelievably rude, but he did, and he dug his grave deeper. So we got more comments. Here we go. So I am putting too many words in my own mouth for you to start trying to put more in for me. No, I'm not saying I agree with anything or anyone about anything that was said about anything ever. You are more than welcome to ask for clarity, obviously, which I did. I said, is that what you're trying to say? I didn't say, oh, you're trying to say this. I said, is this what you're trying to say? I never said anything close to racism not existing or that being my impetus for commenting. I said, so why do we need to defend Adam? Why is it a problem that I disabled the comments so people couldn't defend him when there's really nothing to defend? Can't he take care of himself? It's not that we feel obligated to defend him. I really don't expect him to engage, which is why I wanted to avoid interacting in the first place. This is pure speculation, but I don't think he would find it necessary for us to be here. I think he absolutely can take care of himself. So really, I don't think it's necessary for us to be here either, but here we are. So you just wasted my entire time. Thanks. I guess I'm wondering what your expectations were in the beginning. Were you just wanting to shout someone else's immoral failings for the rooftops, or did you expect him to jump in the ring? Are people supposed to send him hate mail and cross the street when they see him coming? I think she's missing that this whole thing has to do with accountability, and you can't say shit like racism doesn't exist without backlash. If you said that to any other person but this Christian girl that he was messaging that's younger than him, it probably would have been a much bigger issue. So let me come up with a response to this really quick. Okay, here's the response we came up with. My intention was to, oh dear, I had a typo, everybody, was to bring light to a situation in which a pastor should not be serving his community without taking accountability for what he said. Yes, it was a year ago. I doubt he has changed his mind, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he has, and if that is the case, he or the church organization needs to reach out to me, tell me that this has been resolved, whatever, but nobody's done that. Nobody's reached out to me, nobody's asked me to take it down, so it just makes it even more weird that these people are like jumping to defend somebody that clearly doesn't think he needs defending. You cannot serve people of color effectively and believe racism doesn't exist. Do you not think accountability is warranted in a situation where someone believes something dangerous and untrue? Not only that, he's in a position of power, so like that's an extra. If Harvest and Adam aren't even worried about it, then it makes even more sense for your husband to jump down my throat. Just seems like he was being an asshole, doesn't it? Just when I think that it's said and done, we've got more messages. So basically, after all of this, she just started to try to justify her husband's behavior by saying, well, it would make sense if you knew us why we were being this aggressive. And I was like, so just because you're this way normally, that just means that I should take it lying down? Like, no. So then she blocked me. Whatever. I told to let her husband know that there's a YouTube video going out tonight since he's a big fan. Found out that she was the one watching my videos, and I guess saying that I wasn't being abused, but that's besides the point. So then Mr. Ryan comments again. My behavior? You think I haven't been a part of all this, reading everything? Come on. At what point was I aggressive? That victim mentality gets the best of you. A public figure are you? Nah, barely a social justice warrior with the cause of the moment. So you have shit. Great, we all do, but life moves on. I was abused too. Don't assume because I called you out that there isn't a story in everyone. What did you call me out for? Posting YouTube videos about my personal experiences? Good job. Also, I didn't realize at first it was your personal page, or I wouldn't have posted. You shouldn't have posted that at all. I also didn't realize who you were at first, so for that I do apologize. Why are you apologizing for that? I don't understand. I do think you're delusional. He spelled "you're" wrong, and you bring a lot of this on yourself. I posted it because I wanted to bring attention to this, so this is exactly what I want. I've read through your posts during this time, and a lot of them seem to say the same thing, either agree with me or you're 1, 2, 3 out of here. The posts that he's referring to have things to do with like things that shouldn't be opinions, like human rights and racism. So yeah, if you disagree about human rights, yeah, I'm gonna delete you. I think you put stuff on overheard and block comments, which this is the only time I've done that, because you don't want to hear you're wrong. And I think then you post to your page so all your friends can be like, atta girl, and you're so brave and courageous and blah, blah, blah. That's fine if you need that kind of recognition in your life, if that's your thing. I sense that you still have some growing to do and learning to do. You're young, I get it. Good luck to you, I mean that. I really hope you find you way wherever that leads. I commented, it's a shame that your wife blocked me so I couldn't tell her to come get her man. He probably won't like that very much. I don't give a shit. So yeah, I guess that's the conclusion. So Ryan and Lindsay, if you're watching this, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and from the deepest, darkest corners of my heart, go fuck yourself.